What's going on, gamers? We got a video here talking about the value of the PS5 Pro versus the Steam machine and how people should get ready because the Steam machine is going to be $1,000+ or more. This post right here solidifies exactly what I've been talking about when I said that who is going to want to pay that much money for a product like that unless you're just, I guess, a Steam fanboy. Then I had a guy come on my channel and said, I'd gladly pay $900+ for a Steam machine base, 512 gigabyte storage. I'm like, so you know what? When somebody says something like that too, it kind of reminds me of somebody complaining about the PS5 base price going up to $600, but you want to pay $300 more, like you want to pay $300 more for the Steam Deck OLED. No problem. I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But this is the world we're living in, and this is what's going on. Yeah, over $1,000, maybe more than $1,000 for sure. We're gonna get into this comment right here. But they're okay with that somehow because Valve is doing it. Yeah, absolutely insane. So Zeus Arcade says, rumor, the new Steam machine was going to have a crazy price. Yeah, we were thinking over 700+ is still crazy. Journalist Jez Cording has leaked key information about the cost of Valve's highly anticipated console. Key data, its initial price was going to be $1,000. What? We don't know if that's true, but if that's like what they were thinking, I don't know what to tell you. And this is what I mean. It literally says a lot about what they think about their base. How is that friendly? No. PS5 Pro, PSSR 2 is going to melt this thing in comparisons. It is going to embarrass it. And it has a 2 terabyte. And it started at 700. And you're not getting none of PlayStation's exclusives. I don't, we're going to get back to that in a second, but I don't understand. That was the cost proposed when it was discussed last year. If that's true, that is insane. I don't understand how oh my God. The information comes from a super reliable internal source. You see what I mean here? So this is what the company was thinking about that device, well, PlayStation 5 specifications. $1,000. And please tell me you're talking about the 2 terabyte because I don't even think that's the case. What are we talking about here? Other details. Gamers are already joking and fearing that as of today, the price could climb to the 1,500 bracket. I was thinking 1,100, 1,000, 1,200. Dude, this is what I'm saying. If the PS6 comes out and even then, let's say, dude, this was before. He just said this. This was the cost proposed when it was discussed last year. That's before the market went insane with memory. If that's the case, I don't know what to tell you about this company. They're going insane. But yeah, gamers are already joking and fearing that as of today, the price could climb to $1,500. I don't think it's going to be that much, but still over 1,000 dead on arrival. And yeah, there'll be an initial sellout from Steam cultists because that's just how things are. But after that, it's just going to just tank down. Nobody's going to care. Anything that launches on the market, and you could put 100,000 there or whatever, you'll have the super nerd Steam enthusiasts who, whatever Valve does, they just lick Gabe's ass because that's just how it is. You can probably find that in every type of community in the electronic world. But the initial sellout is always something that happens with anything. But then after a while, you'll see that. Yeah, remember that the ROG Ally sold out? What happened? I mean, I think probably didn't even hit 600,000 units sold or something. And it's been out now like 7-8 months. And that's what I mean by like Steam machine is going to be the same thing. The only reason it may get a little bit more support than that, which it will, is because of the Steam fan base. They'll just go support it because they don't care. They'll throw money at Gabe. Make them comfortably get another yacht to Cuba Steve dive in and just live more luxuriously, though they don't have nowhere near as money as those guys do. But, that's how cultist works. So, But yeah, with no recent official statement, the final launch price could still change. Would you be willing to pay $1,000 for the return of the Steam machine? Man, hell no. Get out of here. No, that's insane. So, we're on a PS6. Even the Xbox Series would be a much better deal than this. I don't get the point. This thing should be like $600, $500, you know what I mean? But, this is not the market we're living in. Now, guys, I don't understand. So if we look at the PS5 Pro, Not only does it have 18 gigabytes of RAM, not 16 because they added 2, but it has a 2 terabyte hard drive. Right? Better cooling, everything. It has its own exclusives. It has all Xbox games, and it has PSSR 2, which is the equivalent of FSR 4.1. Sometimes it performs better because it's specifically only designed for a game, and not all those other resources are being used up like a PC. And could you imagine the $650 deal Sony gave in the holidays? It's still the most insane deal ever for any piece of hardware. When you look at things right now, like regardless, just $650 for that. Seeing how PSSR 2 was melting everything on consoles in comparisons and getting up there with high-end gaming PCs. Or at least like past mid-range easily. Like early high range. Like you're talking about $1,500 performance for a PC. That's not considered low-end, even medium. That's considered pretty well. Until this market, which makes things insanely more expensive. Who knows now, right? But the point is that I don't see how, when we look at price point value comparison, the Steam machine is going to compare to getting a PS5 Pro as an option. Don't come to me about no limited games either. Sony has the biggest third-party market in the industry. And they have money hats. And they have all the Xbox games. And now you're not getting their exclusives only on PlayStation. And they're going to be doubling down on their exclusives now with Gen AI added in as well. Everybody's doing it. But it's about how you're going to do it. They need to speed up the development for sure for next gen. There's not going to be no cancels anymore like there was this generation. So they're not making that mistake. A lot of revivals are going to be happening. And I promise you right now, that state of play that's going to be coming in 3 days, they're going to be announcing a lot of exclusives. Get ready for that. Nintendo's going to be announcing a lot too. The only thing Sony's not getting is their exclusives. But Nintendo will get some of their exclusives that they will put on PC, of course. And they're getting Xbox games as well. And you're not getting none of their exclusives. So those are the two platforms that have the strongest identity. And it's nothing new. That's always been what gaming was about. Ever since the 90s, where Sony had to come in after Nintendo. But that's where it started. Steam did not exist. You know what I mean? It's like you don't historically carry gaming. And it was never based around the development. The console development kits were the number one and most chosen focus. When you look at game developer conferences in the last 30 years, all 30, 3 decades, gaming's been alive for 40, but even longer than that, 40, it's been around consoles. So it's like, historically, what is gaming defined by? Steam? No. But is Steam awesome? Yes. But do they know what they're doing when it comes to hardware? No. And they're not very nice about it either. They're kind of telling you that. They're not giving their own base a deal. They don't want to subsidize. They don't want to build a huge console base. They just want to make massive overpriced profit, which I kind of find ridiculous because this is before the memory problems. So what do you think now? If they jacked up the price by the Steam Deck by $1,300, I don't know what to tell you. This is not good. Let's go down to some comments here. Savannah says they wanted every home to have a machine, but with those ridiculously low prices, what kind of audience are they targeting? Where few who can afford them as a whim. But is this global base going to pay that? No bloody way. You'd be surprised if some people will still probably buy it. But yeah, it's definitely going to hurt them if you're trying to come into the console players world who would never go that far to pay for a console. You're saying you're trying to come into the console space. How? You're still coming like a PC, but you're appearing like a console. Terrible. Yeah, it's not going to work. And this is a good comment. Marlon says, no way I'm paying more than $650 for a device whose performance, in theory, is worse than my Series X. Hey, man, I don't blame you. Anyway, I already have a laptop that's a bit better than the Steam machine. Better to save them for the next Xbox console. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That makes sense. And that's what I mean. I mean, you're better off going for the Helix if you're not a PlayStation guy. You know what I mean? And you don't want to pay for PlayStation. No, I'd only pay $1,000, $1,500 just for the Xbox Helix that will have a 10,070 XT inside of it. Oh, you know what? Actually, when you think about the 90, I don't think they're going to do that. It's probably going to be like something else. It's probably going to be like a different number, like 1K70 XT, because I don't know if they want to show those numbers like that. At first, I was looking, I was like, wait, hold on. Is he talking about something with NVIDIA? Like, but okay, I get it now. The choice is obvious, and if the PS6 comes out between 900 to 1,000, I'd buy that too. I promise you, Sony's going to try to get that to 700. Just watch, grant you. There's the thing too, we're talking about the PS5 Pro and the Steam machine, but when you think about when a PS6 comes out too, and I've said this before, why the hell would I even think about looking at that? It's going to absolutely destroy it, and it's going to be more powerful than 90% of PCs on the market. This is where you realize Sony wins, Nintendo wins too, because they're not chasing power. They have a different approach. And then the Switch 3 is going to be up there big time. DLSS 7 will be out by then. You know what I mean? It's like at that point, it doesn't matter. It's already getting to that point with the PS5 Pro. And with PS6, it's like PC gamers are going to need to catch up because they don't have those type of rigs to match that. You have to spend thousands of dollars. Now, you're not going to be bragging about specifications anymore. You're going to be watching videos of people who have high-end rigs like Digital Foundry and them who have a lot of money to afford that to show you that, and you'll brag about that. But subjectively, it's not going to be the majority of the PC audience. They're going to be left out because they can't afford those rigs. I want you guys to think about that because that's going to be a thing that's going to happen big time. That's why we're already calling it out. Zach says, your joke's on me. I'd rather buy a laptop if I want portability. 100%. That's what I have. You know what I mean? I'd rather stick I'd rather go get a Mac M5 Pro or Max at this point. You know what I mean? And be like, okay, dude, I'm dumping on the Steam machine easily. Or even an M4 Max. It's like, dude, you're going to destroy that. Nothing Jess Corden says can be trusted at any moment. He comes out saying that he didn't say that or that it's just an opinion, and he's not an expert on that, but on Xbox. Well, if he had the information, it doesn't really matter. But I get what you're saying. I don't really trust him that much either. But I let anybody in the Xbox world say what they say, but I don't take it serious because it's like, I know what position you're in. You're in that Xbox position. So what do you want to say? This guy says, well, at the time, I consider $650, but I've lost interest. See, here's the thing. You're going to see a lot of people who don't probably look at this stuff like we do intentionally and hardcorely, in a hardcore manner every day. And they're probably thinking when they hear about the Steam machine, because they don't care about all this stuff until Valve officially announces it, that it's going to be somewhere around the price of the PS5 at the current moment, which people think is too expensive. It should be $399 along with the Series X. And when they see that $1,000 price tag or whatever, they're going to be like, what the hell? And every console gamer is going to be like, what is wrong with you? That's why I said, do not tell me Valve is a friendly company. If they were thinking about $1,000 for this already, because Steam Deck price, there's nothing friendly about that. That's ridiculous. Miguel says, with that, I could straight up build a PC that's definitely got more performance than the Steam machine. It would be a great mistake to sell it for more than $800. Well, get ready. I'm sorry, because like I said, the Steam Deck price has showed you everything. No joke, for 1,000 euros, you could build a PC way better than that machine. 1,000 to 1,500 is insane for the specs it has. I'm sorry, but Jazz is the worst source on earth. I believe this more if you said some guy in Discord said it. Damn. I wouldn't pay more than $550 for this device. I already have a 5070 Ti, 32 gigabytes of RAM as my Steam machine. That I got last year thinking the Steam machine was going to cost more than $750. There's a thing, guys. So you see it. We kind of get the idea here. Nobody is thinking the Steam machine should cost more than $600. And they're right. Because it's not going to be more powerful than the Series X. So why the hell are you going to come on the market for $1,000? What, because you now have PC options? I can browse on my phone. I can play games on my laptop. What are you going to do? Oh, yeah, no, I'm avoiding that because I already have what I need in that world. I can play Half-Life 3 on this. I'll just go get a PS5 Pro at that point, right? If I didn't have one. Obviously, I got a really good deal on mine. Yeah, that's right. I paid $380 because I traded in stuff at GameStop. And that's what I'm talking about. Or I sit here and wait and say, dude, I would rather put my money towards the Xbox Helix than that. Get out of here. Though I would just wait for the PS6 because at that point, I don't care. And I just don't really care about PC gaming like I used to anymore because I kind of feel like I don't like where it's at now. It's more disappointing than ever. All I need is a PS5 Pro and Switch 2. And yeah, I have my laptop too if I want to do that, but it's like, what game am I missing out on? Valve didn't promise to drop Half-Life 3. I'm hoping that they do because that's their only saving grace for this product right here. I don't know how this is going to happen. Do you see what I mean? Like, because when you really think, like I said, the direction that Sony is going, imagine when the PS6 is out much cheaper than this device. And they better drop the price because this market's not going to stay like that. And Sony has all those exclusives. And I'm like, what, you thought you were going to play PlayStation 6 games on that? But you're not going to, and it's going to look significantly better because it's going to be significantly more powerful. The PlayStation handheld is going to be more powerful than the Steam machine. You see what I mean? It's just something to think about. It's like, oh man, don't forget, yeah, they're coming out with that too. So it's like Sony's ecosystem is going to be way more attractive. And you know you could invest into it. Don't get me wrong, the Steam ecosystem is good as an app. But I don't want to extend outside of your ecosystem on a weak-ass device like that. I'd rather have my third-party support on PlayStation, which has the biggest third-party support in the industry and has supported the third-party industry the most historically, and get those exclusives and get all the Xbox games. And I got my Nintendo for the Nintendo exclusives. I don't see how that's not the intelligent way if these prices are going to start being like this, unless you have a high-end gaming PC. You said, no, I'm going to be playing all my Xbox games on this, and I'm going to be playing Steam games on there. And then you're still missing out on PlayStation exclusives, and you're still missing out on Nintendo exclusives. Whereas Sony, you have all the Xbox games, you have most of the third-party games and the money hats, and you have the exclusives and a device that's going to be more powerful than most PCs. So you see, this argument now is not working as good as it used to before. Sony pulled the rug when they pulled their single-player games away, and Nintendo's never sharing. This is just facing reality. That's exactly what's going to happen. So to me now, it's like, yeah, I don't care anymore after PSSR 2. I now see I can play any game now at 60 frames per second in performance mode. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Become a member if you want. Leave a tip down below. Like, comment, subscribe as usual. Just had to speak some more sense here when it comes to the Steam world, because this is about to get more heavy when they officially announce it. The Steam Deck already kind of set off people. They never thought Valve would do that. It's surprising, I bet, to a lot of people. Well, get ready for the Steam machine. I think it's going to surprise you more. Later, y'all.